So then it's to discuss about the automotive industry. What were the golden years of the automotive industry?
Oh, I would say the 50s through the mid 70s. Absolutely. The style, the style of the automobiles, the different V8 motors that were coming out everywhere, and all the big three car companies that were all competing to who could make the coolest car before they put smog control on them. That's when they killed it.
What made you attracted to loving vehicles?
Oh, probably a little old Matchbox car about that big. ever since I can remember. Yeah.
What is a dream car that you have or you plan on getting?
Well, I recently acquired a toy for myself. You work all your life, you fix everybody else's car. You work at night, you work in the driveway, and I finally decided, well, I'm going to get myself something. I'm going to get myself a toy. I went and bought myself a 31 Plymouth. It's what they call an old school hot rod. That's what I'm making it into anyway. But yes, I love it. I love it. It's fun to drive. It looks cool. I wax it up and I put it in the driveway. And the neighbors just wave and they come up and talk to you and stuff, It's just, that is a passion of mine.
Have you seen any of the Fast and Furious films?
No, not a one of them.
Do you know about them?
Nah, I know about them, but not much. I've heard of them, but no, I have not.
Do you think traditional combustion vehicles will ever fully disappear?
No, absolutely not. Not in our lifetime, no.
What are your thoughts on the future of electric vehicles?
I think we're going to have better luck. They're starting to develop hydrogen power now, which would be super. But I don't think total electric's not going to be a real big thing. They might get 15-20% of the market.
So you don't think it's going to take over completely?
No, I don't think so. Not in the South, anyway. Not in the South.
What is the correlation between politics and the automotive industry?
I have no idea. Don't want to know. Don't care about it.
But you think there is a correlation?
No, I mean...
Because I want to see if a certain candidate kind of reflects the impact of the automotive industry. Let's say there's a Democrat in office.
Well, yeah, but, people need their car fixed. Okay? I mean, your car breaks down, to hell with who's senator or president. Okay? I need my car fixed. I can go anywhere in the world and make a living because everybody that drives a car needs it fixed. Right?
So regardless of who's in office,
it doesn't matter who's in office. When your car's broke, you got to get it fixed. I mean, as far as spending on new ones and stuff like that, sometimes people hang on to their old ones a lot longer. Sometimes the new market goes crazy, then other times it doesn't. So like right now, the new car market's down. That had probably more to do with politics than people getting their cars fixed when they break.
How long were you a mechanic for?
30 years. An actual hands-on technician, 30 years. Most of the time you're working inside a building, in a shop. No, we don't have air conditioning. Most of the time we got big fans blowing. In the wintertime, the heat is mediocre. That's part of the business.
Have you ever seen incidences as a mechanic that stood out to you from the 30 years you've been a mechanic?
And you seen any what?
Incidences, something dramatic?
Well, yeah, man, I've seen guys throw wrenches across the shop and stick them in the wall and stuff. Yeah. But, sometimes working on cars is very, very frustrating. Sometimes it needs to be done. I've encountered a couple things like that, but I saw a guy try to put a 16.5-inch tire on a 16-inch wheel, and the tire fit right on there. But when he went to blow it up, it came off, and the whole tire came off like that and took all the skin off front of his face right there. Took his shirt, his skin, all. He didn't get hurt really bad, but he was lucky.
What was the proudest moment that you experienced as a mechanic, if you recall?
Oh, I don't know. You always feel good when you help somebody out and their car works good for them, and they call you up or send you a note and tell you. I guess the first time I actually rebuilt a complete engine and scrubbed it up and it worked. That makes you feel pretty good.
How do customers react after you tell them that a car cannot be fixed?
Sometimes they don't react very well. I had a customer one time that I told them their car could, it needed an engine. They wanted me to put a Band-Aid on it. I told them it wouldn't work. I put it in writing that it wouldn't work. And I still put the Band-Aid on for him. And then when the engine came apart, of course, it was my fault. But, I had put it all in writing. Nobody tried to take me to court or anything like that. But, I've seen, yeah, you have to, people get upset. They do. And then some of them will say, well, I figured it was about time. They know.
Is it true that mechanics give discounts to women that come around looking for work done on the vehicle?
Not me. Not ever. Those two separate things.
Was it you seen, like co-workers in the past?
Yeah, I mean, not too often, but I've seen a couple of incidences where, a guy snuck in something quick for a girlfriend or something, that's not really common in the business. It might have been back in the 50s and the 60s, but that's not common nowadays, no.
What is the easiest car to work on as a mechanic?
They're all a pain in the butt.
Because I've heard cars like Toyota Camrys and Hondas are not too much of a pain to mechanics.
Well, yeah, nowadays, most cars out there nowadays are imports. And, they're not hard to work on. They're little buzz bombs, little tinker boxes. Now, as far as, a basic engine, the easiest one to work on is an old V8 Chevrolet.
Okay.
I mean, those things are so simple and basic. And, the parts, you can take parts from one and put on the other one, and the parts, interchange. And it's probably one of the easiest ones, yes. It's expensive, too.
So a complex task to a mechanic may be frustrating, but do mechanics low-key enjoy it since they'll be expecting a bigger pay?
They don't expect any bigger pay. I mean, the pay is the pay. You get what if you're on a flat rate, say you're on a flat rate at $25 an hour. Well, whether it takes you 10 hours or it takes you 2 hours, whatever the job pays, if the job pays for 6 hours, you get paid 6 hours. Whether it takes you 10 or 2 or 3, you still get paid for that initial flat rate.
What's the most mileage you pushed on a car?
310,000. My Blazer I'm driving right now has 285,000 on it, and it runs like a brand new one.
Do you remember your first car?
Of course I do. Everybody remembers their first car. What was your first car?
Was a Honda Accord.
Those are good little cars, too. Those are good little cars. They are dependable. They're good little cars. Mine was 1966 Mercury Comet, a two-door Mercury Comet.
Anyone trying to buy a car, what are 3 cars you're recommending to them?
Nowadays, Honda makes a good automobile. Toyota makes a very good automobile. Depends. You want American made? You want a big 3? Or Subaru makes a good car. There are a lot of good cars out there nowadays. I remember when Hyundai first hit the market, they couldn't keep transmissions in them. This was back in 89, 90, 91. Those things were junk. Now look at them now. They're good cars now. It's hard for me to say. As far as pickup trucks go, I like the Chevys. I like the Dodges, but they're so big. They're not like the regular pickup trucks we used to drive. They're huge, and everything's got 4 doors now. Everything. It doesn't matter.
Lastly, what do you think is the future of the mechanic profession and even the automotive industry?
Well, I can tell you, the industry is down on technicians. There's probably 4,000 spots open for technicians, easy. The industry is down a lot. I'm talking about, that's just here in Georgia. Nationwide, who knows? Kids are not wanting to go into the business. The future of the business is the electronics. A good technician now can wear a white lab coat and hardly ever get his hands dirty and write his own ticket. 6 figures. I'm serious. The automotive industry is changing. I think the electric car thing is easing off. And you're right. As far as the politics go, our current president right now is easing up on regulation, gas mileage and stuff like that. But you know how they figure gas mileage, right? The government says, okay, you got to put out a car that gets 35 miles to the gallon or more. Well, you could have a truck that gets 15 and cars that get 50, everything. And so when it all averages out, I'm at 35 miles per gallon. See what I'm saying? So that's how that works. So yes, there is politics to it. Absolutely. I don't know. You know, I mean, a sharp kid with a computer can make a pile of money. And a lot of kids just don't want to get their hands dirty anymore. They don't want to, you know.
So is it
I
a
mean,
generational thing?
oh, I think it is. I've seen a lot, because things are a lot different than when I was growing up. We didn't have gaming, and we didn't have computers. We didn't have a lot of stuff like that. We didn't have the opportunities that they have now. So it's a little bit different. Well, I mean, there's always the guys that want to get in there with their wrenches and get their hands dirty and pull those engines out and replace those transmissions and do those kind of things. Those, what we call a line mechanic, okay? Good line mechanics are going to be harder and harder to
Do
find.
you think it has to be passed down to you? Like for you, for example, did you love vehicles? Did you love fixing vehicles due to seeing your dad potentially working on cars?
My dad was worked for Texas Instruments for 15 or 20 years as an international sales rep. When he was growing up, he worked on a few cars. He had that, you got to have a mechanical mind. You got to have, like my wife's father, he's an engineer. So he knew how to put stuff together. He could build stuff. And that's what it takes. You want to get in there and you want to figure out, how does this thing work? How do I make it better? And if I take this all apart, can I put it back together and it still work? That is just a lure of mechanics. Kids love these loud cars and they want to see what makes them tick. But there's some out there. There's some out there.
Thank you, Dennis, for this wonderful time.
You're welcome. Thank you.